All right, so we'll be getting into the Jags win over the Kansas City Chiefs from Saturday, and your Chad and Sandy real estate question today is simply asking for your reaction in any capacity. There's definitely a lot of positives. Some concerns for me include, look, Travis Etienne, 4 carries, 3 yards. I didn't see a whole lot of room with that at what we put out as the first team offensive line. Hey, we didn't have all our starters. Hey, they didn't have Chris Jones. All right. So, you can play that game all day. You're probably going to play some games this year, Dave, without your starting 5, the desired starting 5. What did you see from the offensive line early in this football game?
Yeah, kind of some of the same things you were just saying. We were watching the backs, waiting to see if we could see some holes, see the guys, take off upfield. We didn't get a bunch of that from our guys. Like you said, 4 carries for 3 yards, not good numbers. But passing the ball, it looked really good. Parker Washington with his returns. It was the first time I saw something exciting with the returns since, they've kind of put this new rule in. So that was really cool to see. But, yeah, still a little bit concerned with, not being able to open up any holes for Etienne in the beginning.
Yeah, Tony, the return game is going to be –
oh, man, that looked good.
This is the film everyone's going to watch from this game.
Oh, yeah.
What did the Jags do to spring 2 guys? I think the Parker Washington one was just like, make this guy miss. I'm going to make this guy miss.
Yeah, that was him.
Like,
it was all him.
There was a lot of him on that, and they blocked it well with Tank Bigsby, the turf monster might have gotten him
my gosh.
there, right? Got a little excited with green grass and high times looking out in front of him. But
look, you watch enough of the preseason week 1 this weekend, so all the NFL teams are doing this for the first time, this week. So you keep an eye on whatever's going on with the kickoff returns with this new rule put in place, and the Jags were the best team on it this week in the NFL. I don't know how much of that is Kansas City's a really bad coverage team at this point in time, and their kick returner has no idea what the rules are yet. Like, I don't know how much all of these things come into play. Like, that almost felt like a moment with the safety, too.
Yeah.
Where the play ends, I don't even know on the sideline if I get all that mad at him, because I don't think anyone knew officially what was supposed to happen. Right on the play, it's like, stay in the end zone, try to get us the touchback. That's obviously what he was thinking. Right on the play, I thought when it happened, I was like, but you don't treat the goal line like a boundary. That's not how that works on a return. That feels like a safety to me.
Yeah, totally. Obviously, bring the ball back in. But now, here's
someone will
the
do
question.
that once. That'll never happen again.
That's teaching tape right there.
But here's the question I have. Obviously, in last year, if the ball went into the end zone, dead ball. It's declared. You can bring it out to the 25. Hits the ground. You don't have to jump on it. You don't have to do anything. It's not live. Now we know it's a live ball, okay? So if it goes in the end zone on the fly, which it did.
Yeah, catch it.
You can get it out at the 30, right? But you have to corral it. So if it goes in and pops back out and you jump on it there, I presume you're going to get it at the 1-yard line, right? And it's not going to be, it went into the end zone on the fly, I should get it at the 30. It didn't stay in the end zone on the fly. So I do understand that bit of confusion, but Nicole Hardman's got to know. My knee is down in the end zone. I'm reaching out of the end zone and grabbing the ball and bringing it back.
Well, and even if he doesn't know, and I can understand everyone being confused in the moment, what does any of this mean, right? It's going to happen once. No other team's ever going to have that situation again. Not after what happened on Saturday, right?
Farwell was on it.
It happened, and everyone in the league is going to be like, this is don't do that.
Oh, right? They're showing that tape to every team meeting room that it was great that it happened in preseason for McCole, but that is definitely being shown to everybody. And when I was up there, we had a bunch of fans around us, and we were all trying to figure out what was happening. And I said, no. I didn't think safety, but I thought, no, that ball should be down.
Wrong here.
Right there at the one.
Yeah.
You can't bring it back into the end zone, especially with your knee already down.
Well, here's what happened. I've got my sheet for halftime, right? And I'm very anal about things. It has a little.
You?
Yes, it has a little line on there to put in the halftime score, right? So the Jags score, and I'm like, okay, it's going to be 17 for the Jags. Wait a minute, penalty. Scratch that out. They're going for 2. It's 18, right? And then, so I could put that in there pretty confidently. Wait, it's 20. Like, where are we going with all this? And then, of course, Cam Little could have made it 23, just missed a 62-yarder. But I think, the takeaway from that isn't, he missed the field goal. The takeaway is, how far would that have been good from, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe 70?
Yeah.
I mean, he has an amazing leg.
I see.
You know, obviously you want to do it in a little bit more relaxed fashion. Not that I've ever kicked the ball successfully through the uprights, right? But, you know, I feel like he just tried to put a little extra juice on that one.
100%. I mean, he wants to give his team, you know, a nice score there for himself also, you know, to go into the half. But it was, you know, we don't normally give guys that hard a time when they're 60+ trying to put it through the uprights. I was just excited to think, man, we can just get across the 50 and start getting this guy lined up, getting ready to kick, you know, any kind of field goal at any point in time in any game with a leg like that. That was halfway up the upright.
And you're not going to do it very often because obviously the penalty is if you miss, it goes 8 yards back towards your goal line. You know, but
just
at the end
that
of the
your
half,
guy can do that. And,
exactly.
You know,
in
into the game, you're going to give him that opportunity.
The other ones just looked like he was kicking little chip shots, Stone. Even like, you know, 47-yard, like, boom. I mean, he's I came away very impressed with Cam Little. Or put it this way, no less impressed than I've been watching him kick in practice. He's been
I hadn't seen him, so I was very impressed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there's a lot of things we can get into today. Parker Washington is the you know, one of the biggest storylines coming out of this game. He did a little bit of everything. Now, keep in mind, they've got the all-pro return guy in Devin Duvernay on the roster, and they're just like, hey, you know what? Let's not expose him to anything. We know how good he is as a return man. Let's give these other guys some options here. Keelan Robinson needs to get healthy and get into some of these games here because they drafted him to be probably the number 2 return guy. But Parker Washington takes 173. Tank almost busts one the distance. And you know you've got Duvernay. You know, there's competition, Dave, for how many running backs this team is going to keep. And so Keelan Robinson needs to show something in these next couple of preseason games, be healthy enough to do that, to earn his spot on this roster right now. And he's gotten praise in camp from both the offensive and special teams coordinators on this team for his attitude and what they think he can do to help this team. But they're pretty deep, it appears, at the moment, right there, at least in the return capacity. And, you know, they ran the ball well outside of the first team. Yeah. And so, but I think that can be a little deceptive at times. You know, you get in there and, you know, you've got a few of your starters on the offensive line or you know, if your backups are better than their backups, it's hard to know how much weight to put on that.
Yeah, and also sometimes you're out there, you know, you've only got 1 or 2 drives, and you're trying to do everything you can to, you know, pop your running back and all that kind of stuff, but you're also trying not make sure you're not getting hurt too while you're out there. So, you know, guys aren't doing everything they possibly could to spring their backs, but, you know, you want to be able to see something. You want to see your running back have some daylight at some point in time. But, you know, from all the talk that I've been hearing you guys say throughout training camp, you know, I feel like it's there. Now we need to see it.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, Bigsby ran well. Dearness Johnson ran well. Jalen Jackson continued. He's having a good camp, quietly, undrafted rookie. And he showed up 5 carries for 29 yards. I mean, you only get the opportunities you get, and you can only play against the guys that you're playing against. The other concern I had, it was, you know, those first 3 plays for Kansas City. They just go 11, 9, 16, like, okay, what? Like, Tone, I came in this game thinking, I'm pretty confident in what Ryan Nielsen's going to bring to the table here with this defense. And granted, they stiffened up a little bit. They got a little late pressure on Mahomes, forced an incomplete pass, and forced the field goal. But those first 3 plays, 11, 9, 16 yards, Dave, that Isaiah Pacheco run right up the gut, I felt like every single Jaguar got blown off the ball. Probably
Devon got moved easy.
I mean, the thing just parted, and the middle was just wide open.
And that's what you want to be able to see from our offensive line, you know. So that's where you get a little frustrated with things. Honestly, I hadn't even got to my seat. I was grabbing a little snack real quick, and by the time I walked out, which I thought the game had just started, they're already down there on the other side of the 50.
What's
and I'm
going
like,
on?
What did I miss? They're like, this play, that play, that play. So, yes, Kansas City can do that to any and everybody when you have Patrick Mahomes. So, You don't want to see your team have it, but you also want to see your team stiffen up a little bit and say, okay, you know what? We screwed it up a little bit on that first drive. We tightened up. We didn't let them score a touchdown. Just held them to 3. And you know what? Maybe we would have gotten more pressure and more stuffs and all that kind of stuff as the game went on if their starters stayed out there. But we don't get to see it, and hopefully we'll see a better performance from the start of the game this weekend.
Hey, Nia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.